Hello everyone, welcome back to my Minecraft Hardcore Season 2 world. I hope you're all having a good day today. We are back at the Resin farm, where I have been very busy. I built a fourth kelp farm module to help fuel the furnaces up over here. So we have more kelp to go into these smokers here. They are all filled with kelp, or are trying to be filled with kelp. And we get a little bit of extra to go down into a miscellaneous, well, not miscellaneous, an additional kelp block storage chest for if we ever want to use those blocks elsewhere in the world. But it does mean that we also get more kelp blocks more frequently. I don't have any in the system at the moment, unfortunately, because we've used them all. And, well, that has resulted in quite a lot of resin bricks here at the resin farm. This is actually more than I was expecting. I was expecting like 3 double chests just then, but apparently we have almost 5 full double chests of resin bricks. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And unfortunately the kelp farm is a little bit slow. You need to wait for the system to fill up with the kelp blocks before it brings itself down to the furnaces to smelt resin. So I was spending that time waiting, not being AFK because that is against the rules of this world, but I started chopping wood. So what we have is at least a shulker box, a full shulker box of every single wood type in the game, and a little bit extra. And we also have at least a shulker box of every type of leaf in the game as well, including the netherworts. That is, if they count as leaves. So, what are we going to be doing here today? Well, I hope to make this place begin to look a little bit better, a little bit nicer. We're going to have to give this place a build of its own. I want to get rid of the random resin platform above there. That's really just phantom protection, and I don't particularly want that to be permanent. So, I think we need to start with potentially the entrance to the resin farm just here. We could build a little bit of an arch for our storage system just there. And we also need to try and work on an actual farming area for when we come over here to hit the creakings. I forgot what they were called for a second there. Oh. My goodness, that's loud when they all spawn in. So for those who are unaware, I have 528 creaking hearts across 4 different shifting walls over here. And that means that I get 528 creakings all over here, and one swipe at the creakings generates a hell of a lot of resin. I mean, that was a lot just then, and I don't even have all of the creakings in here yet. This is probably like only 200 creakings or so. They're just going to funnel in for a little while. But eventually they will stop. There is a lot of particles here. My goodness. But anyway, I was thinking about what exactly I should do with this area. And I think the idea that I have for the entranceway, at least, is to try and challenge myself to use every single wood type in the game. I've taken on this challenge before, but that was like 5 years ago, if not more. Like, how long ago did I start that first Hardcore Season 1 world? Was that... Oh my goodness. It actually is almost 5 years. That's crazy. Anyway, back in that world, I created a build at the start of the world which had an interior where I challenged myself to use every single wood type in the game. And Minecraft has evolved quite a lot since then. There was actually only 6 wood types in the game back then, and now we have 12. The wood has literally doubled in Minecraft. How crazy is that? So now we've got lots of extra little things that we could use. We could use bamboo, warped wood, crimson wood, pale oak wood. That's going to be pretty cool. Mangrove wood, cherry wood. We've got a pretty good amount of colours here. Oh, what is that? We've got a pretty good amount of colours here now, so this should be a pretty interesting build. Not only that, but I feel like I want to play with the lighting of this area as well. So we're going to have some darker blocks towards the bottom and maybe some lighter ones towards where our light sources will be. And maybe darker again towards the middle of the ceiling. I think that could be a good way of going about things here. I also want to put some light sources down here so that I can actually see whatever's going on down here in the kelp farm. Like, I am struggling to see through there. It's a good thing I've gotten all of these shroom lights then, isn't it? You know, I may as well do that now. Let's just get them in there. Yes. Now I can see... Oh, I'm flooding stuff. Oh dear. There we go. Is this side better than the other side now? I think it is. We can see the bottom of the kelp farm now, whereas over here, you can't see anything. Yeah. That already looks better. Okay, we won't keep this as the finished design. I want to get some more aesthetic, lovely looking things down there, but we can, for now, just go right ahead and put the shroom lights on the other side as well. You know, I've got to say, the shroom lights actually go pretty well with the resin blocks as well. It almost looks like it's glowing resin. Oh, these blocks are perfect for each other. The perfect light source for resin. I love that combo. They go perfectly together. What else can we do? Well, I think we should get started on building a few arches to build a kind of skeleton of an interior at first. I think that's going to be the way to go about this. So let's get some dark oak logs first. That's going to be our first wood type that we're going to use here. Uh-oh. I've just gone inside of creaking range. I'm fairly certain with this. It'll be okay. Okay. First things first, we're going to get our dark oak logs in place. And then we're going to cover them up with trapdoors. Or at least cover up the sides anyway. Whoop. Lost that one. Almost fell in. And then we can put some stripped dark oak logs on top of that. And I think we might stop there with the dark oak for now. We don't want to go too overboard. We're going to have to hold ourselves back on using too much of one wood type, or we won't have space for all of the other wood types later on. So let's move on ahead. Some spruce. And I think that's going to be stripped as well. I'm going for a little bit of a gradient at first because these pillars at the sides, we're going to have some light sources on them. So the way that it's suddenly going darker as we go down, I think that's going to work out really well. And I don't actually want creaking spawning over here, so I'm just going to place some leaves. Apparently they don't spawn on leaves, so that's always good to know. Unfortunately though, they do spawn on glass. I have learned that, which is unfortunate. I would have liked to have had this glass going all the way up to our swiping chamber over there, but alas, with that it's not meant to be. We're going to have to do something else over there. And anyway, swiftly moving on to our next wood type. We're going to get some oak action going on here. If I can reach, there we go, lovely. You're just going to have to ignore these leaves for now. They are not part of the build, it's just that it's nighttime and the creakings are spawning. But anyway, I think it's time to move on again. This time we're going to use birch. That's just going to go directly on top of the oak. So we've got a nice gradient going on here from dark oak to stripped dark oak to stripped spruce to stripped oak to stripped birch. Oh, where are we going to go from there? Well, we're going to go to some stripped pale oak. Like, how does that look? For a bit of a darkness gradient going from dark and then some middle browns going all the way up to white. I think that could work pretty well, and then we could get a light source just there as well. But I think we're going to use mangrove for that. Where are my sticks? There are my sticks. I got lots of sticks while I was harvesting logs for this episode. So now, with these mangrove fences, we've got some, like, torch holders, I guess. And I think what we're going to use for that is candles. So, let's craft some of those. Turn them orange, because this place is going to be inspired by the creaking. And we're just going to place them up there. Do I have a flint and steel on me? No, I do not. That would be useful. Ah, good. We've gotten in there. So now we can just light that up. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Ooh. Don't set fire to your builds, Whistler. So, how is that? Is that good so far? I think it is. We've got some good strong pillars there. And I like how it's lighter as we get up close to the candles just there. And it's darker down here. That's what I mean by playing with lighting. We're sort of going to create our own sort of light levels up here. Let's remove these torches and just see what kind of light we're dealing with. Okay, how is that for light levels? I think I approve. This feels a little bit enchanting. You're just going to have to ignore the Shulker monster. It's not going to be there permanently, but so far, I like the way that the light seems to be focused on our little candle holders at the sides here, rather than anywhere else, and the floor is a little bit dim. But I am worried about creepers spawning at the moment, so let's just get some torches back into place. We can always get rid of them later, once they are no longer needed. Now we need to start adding some more wood types to our build here, but I'd also like to start building a bit of a curve and bring these pillars together in a kind of arch. So let's get that started with some pale oak trapdoors. Now I think some of you might be wondering why on earth I actually wanted to build a resin farm in the first place. And it's because resin blocks are actually the perfect scaffolding block. You can pillar up on them, you can build whatever you want, and if you have a very powerful resin farm, you can gather them like nobody's business, and they are also incredibly insta-mineable without even a tool, so you can save yourself on the tool durability. So yeah, that is why I am a big fan of the resin blocks so far. So I think it makes perfect sense to start using resin blocks as our new scaffolding blocks within our survival worlds. Especially since it's so easy to farm. You just get a lot of creaking hearts in one place and then bam, you've got yourself a creaking farm basically. They're so easy to build. They're probably one of the easiest farms built for Minecraft recently. And you're probably wondering what these leaves are for, and they're not going to be visible. I'm only putting them here because they aren't a light source and they stop mob spawning. So yeah, leaves are god tier. They're even better than glass now. Now that glass can't do anything about creakings, leaves for the win. And now a colour that is pretty close to white is gonna be cherry wood. We're gonna be using that for the cherry part of this build. And then we can move back to mangrove. I'm just gonna put another leaf block on top of that so it's not spawnable. And then to continue on with that colour gradient, we're gonna move straight on to the crimson wood. As you can see here, now that I've got the torch in place, we can go from white to pink to red to mangrove with the new pale oak wood, the cherry wood, the mangrove, and the crimson logs from the nether. Now, how is this looking so far? I like it. I do like it. I think there is one thing that I would like to change with it, though. I don't like how far apart they are from each other. Feel like they just need to be one block further in. I don't think I want to see too much of the chests. Just seeing the ends of them is enough, I think. Yeah, because if I'm here, I can't see that post there or that post there. I'm just seeing a random candle holder. Yeah. Gonna need to bring those pillars in. So, down with it all! Alright, I've moved the pillars one block closer in, and I think I like that a lot more. We can actually see the pillar in the middle now for the middle arch, so that's good. It is no longer hidden away. Now for this next bit, I think we're going to change not to resin bricks, not to resin blocks, I mean. We're going to be changing to the nether logs themselves. So, let's get these into place. And I think we're actually going to do a little bit of a weird change. I don't know how else to describe it, but I don't want to be too even with it. No, this is not going to be a symmetrical build at all, in the slightest. I want this to feel natural and like a living tree, because this is a resin farm. It's largely based off of creakings, which are in fact living trees, so, as opposed to what a non-living tree whistler? Oh, for goodness sake, it's a moving tree. But anyway, we're going to strip some logs. Going to use stairs in some places. I think that will work. And then to complete our skeleton of the build, we're going to go ahead and use some warped wood as well. And I'm just going to use some soul lanterns to help light up the place just a little bit more so that you can actually see the ceiling. So this is going to be our skeleton for the build, and we've already made use out of so many different wood types. We've got dark oak, we've got spruce, oak, birch, pale oak, cherry, mangrove, crimson, and the warped woods already included in the build. And I think that only leaves acacia, what else am I missing? Bamboo, and also jungle. I think there's only 3. Unless I'm missing one? I don't think I'm missing one. So now I think the next step is to try and fill in the gaps as much as possible. So this seems like a good point to include some acacia. And then I think we can lock that off with some jungle. We'll strip it as well. And now after this one last wood type, bamboo, I believe that we now have every single wood type that's currently in the game within this one build. So, just gotta add that little bit of bamboo. And now that we've included bamboo, I believe we have every single wood type included within this structure here. So I think that challenge has been successful at least. Although the build itself has yet to be completed. I've still got to give this thing an exterior. No idea what that's going to look like. I've also got to fill in the gaps just between here. You see this? This is a hole in the wall. We can't have that. No sirree. So let's see what we can do with a brief time lapse of this area. I'll be back with you soon. And welcome back everyone, I hope you enjoyed that time lapse. I know it was kind of brief and that I could have done a lot more, but really, this is kind of what I was hoping to do. I wanted to get some interiors and exteriors done for basically a ground floor for this build, and also for that build over there. And they're both two very different structures, and they both don't have a proper roof. But I'll get into that later. Now, while I still can, I want to discuss what on earth this structure is. So, I've got all of these creakings going into that hole there, but you know what? They're kind of slow while they enter the hole. So, what I've built is a bit of a window, and then I can stare at them, and then the water just pushes them straight in. There's no resistance anywhere. They just go straight into the hole. And then I can whack them with a sword down there once they've all entered my little swiping chamber. And this was also another build which I tried to endeavour to include every single wood type in the game. I think I succeeded. I even used the creaking hearts as decoration. That's another benefit to having a resin farm, is that I can have infinite creaking hearts as long as I chop some pale oak wood. So that's pretty good. I actually quite like this staircase. It's quite unusual. It's not really the kind of thing that I've built before, like a tunnel of this. I love the resin on top of the crimson logs here. It looks like it's actually part of the block. If someone had told me that Minecraft was going to have glowing crimson logs added to the game, I would have believed them. And that's the thing, it's literally just resin. This... I wasn't even thinking of the decoration possibilities that we could have now that we've got this resin stuff in the game that we can apply to every single thing that has a solid surface. I think it looks pretty good in this case. I think it interacts with the crimson logs really well. It looks like it's meant to be there. It looks like it's even following the vines on the stem. That's awesome. Anyway, you might have noticed that there is no roof on that build and there is no roof on that build either. And there is a reason for it. There is a very good reason for it. You're not going to see the roofs in the end result of this place. This is going to be largely redone. This massive grass platform is going to serve as the basis, I think, for some kind of enchanted forest. I've been working with a wood challenge in this episode where I included every single wood type, and I think something I'd like to do in the next episode is to actually build a tree of every single wood type in the game, a custom version. So we could have a pale oak tree over there, and then an acacia tree over there, and then a dark oak tree over there, and they could be different sizes, and I think that could be cool. And then I don't think that's going to fill out the whole of this grass platform though, so I think we'll mix in some other variants as well. Like we'll have a mixture of a dark oak and a cherry tree or something like that. I think that could be interesting. What do you think? I think an enchanted forest would be a pretty cool idea, especially given that I've got this tree farm over here now. I can just go over there and grab more materials when I need them. Now, I will say that this edge here is a little too close to our shifting walls over here, so I think I'm going to have to cover this up with a wall. And then that way all of the resin actually does go into the water streams below rather than just landing on our platform. I'm also not liking the fact that I can hear so much water here. So I think we're going to take a tiered approach with the water collection system. So you see how I've got the staircase going down there? Well, I'm thinking of lowering this platform here as well. It does not need to be flat. It could be tiered as well as this staircase in the same kind of way. I think that would be good. So, what do you think? I know that this is very much still a work in progress region of the world, but I think we've gotten a strong basis here. Please tell me you have faith in me. I know it looks weird with the fact that I don't have a proper roof, but trust me, you're not going to need to see the top of it. I'd really like the foliage in here to be really thick, almost blotting out the sun. Moving on, I've done some more mining. I did it before this episode even began. I have 6 stacks of diamond ores, as well as an additional 7 ores, and I accidentally fortuned up another 13 as well. All of this is going straight into that blue lava floor at spawn. So let's see what we end up with today. Come on, tell me that I've been lucky today. We now have many diamonds. And it all comes out to... Ooh. That's over 12 stacks. We've got 13 stacks, almost 14 stacks of diamonds. And that equals 1 stack of diamond blocks and 34. Do I have any spares? Please tell me I have a spare for another one. Come on. Come on. We do. Very cool. Oh. I almost hit 100 diamond blocks exactly just then. That's a shame. I guess I'm gonna be stuck at 99. Oh, I love the heartbeat as I approach the gate. Hearing the heartbeat from over there, it feels so ominous sometimes. Okay, let's get to replacing. Where did I get to? I think I got to here. And in go the diamond blocks. And that is what 99 diamond blocks worth of progress looks like. I'm still not done. I feel like I say this all the time, but I think we are only like 3 or 4 episodes from completing this thing. Now, I'm afraid I do have some bad news for you all. Do you see this giant shulker farm in front of us? Well, I put a lot of time into building this thing, and I hate to break it to you all, but it is now broken, and it's because I decided to update my world straight from 1.21 to 1.21.4. And I designed this farm in 1.21, and it was based around a mechanic of shulker bullets going straight into a soul sand water elevator so that they could hit shulkers at the top. And there's actually a bug that has existed ever since the first snapshot after 1.21.1 released. And it has to do with shulker bullets and their interactions with the bubble columns. They're not being affected by the soul sand water elevator I've got there in the middle. Beforehand, this bullet farm down at the bottom would shoot bullets all the way up to the top up there. And there's nothing up there anymore, so what we've got is a broken farm because all of the shulkers, they're only getting hit down here, and everything else, they're just not getting hit by bullets. There's lots of shulkers stuck in the middle. They're not teleporting away, they're not getting damaged or anything. Oh dear. Bubble columns in general just do not push the shulker bullets anymore. And I had a look in the changelogs in that first snapshot to see if it was maybe an intentional change, and it turns out that it's just not listed in the changelogs. So I decided that it was probably a bug. And so I reported it. And now, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to say that in the very next version of Minecraft, the next official release, this farm will be fixed again. Because the bug has already been fixed. It got fixed literally like 3 days after I posted the bug report, so that's pretty good. I'm glad that Mojang saw that and were instantly able to fix it, pretty much. That's pretty good going. I think I had a good experience there. And I think it's quite funny that this bug went pretty much unnoticed for almost half a year, and the only reason I noticed it was because I built this farm in a prior version, and I am probably the only person in the world who is actively trying to push shulker bullets through bubble columns. It had to wait for me to notice it. But anyway, the farm will work again in the future. It's just a waiting game for when it gets added to an official release, really. But anyway, my point is that my farm doesn't work anywhere near as well as it used to. It still produces shulker shells, but it's at such a slow pace that there's just no point in even trying. Ooh, am I gonna make it? Am I gonna make it? I think I made it. I think there's no creakings here. Are they gonna spawn? Oh, there they go. Oh, they are so quick. All just immediately flooding out this platform. I love it. I think I'm gonna have to do something with this kind of view here. Maybe some kind of creaking mural? I don't know. But I think it works pretty well. The fact that I can now look at all of the creakings here and just shove them all into that hole. It's so effective. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that episode. If you want to try out your own little every wood type challenge, go ahead. And please, show me what you ended up doing with it. I'd love to see. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that episode, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!